Hello and welcome to another book haul video, much sooner than I thought, and I'm going to blame Revenant Reads, Vin, and Read by Fred for my current shopping spree. One, because I was looking for The Dead Zone, which I'll be buddy reading with Vin, and two, because Vin started a project with Star Trek, and I saw that video on Read by Fred. So jealous of the uniform, but I needed to find Star Trek books. So my search for The Dead Zone by Stephen King continues, but I did find two Star Trek books. So I'll be able to participate in that because at the moment all I have is a Star Trek magazine. I unhauled all my books on this series years ago, which truly makes me sad because I can't find them again. I've even checked Amazon. So for the Star Trek event, I'll be reading Star Trek Probe. This is a novel by Margaret Bonanno, and Star Trek Voyager, Mosaic. This is by Jeri Taylor. So I'm looking forward to that, and I did watch Voyager as well as the original Star Trek. I also, at my one thrift store, found yet another book to my Ghost House collection. This is number 12. And as you can, well, you can't really see, but the others are in there. I found this series through my Goodwill thrift store. So excited. I also found an Edgar Cayce, Answers Life's 10 Most Important Questions. This is by John G. Fuller, under the editorship of Charles Thomas Cayce. That's Edgar's son. After I think it was a chat the other day, I know someone had mentioned a comment about Dr. Wayne Dwyer, and I found his book, Real Magic, Creating Miracles in Everyday Life. So I'll be giving him a read. It's an author that I hadn't read before. I've heard a lot of people talking about Clive Cussler, so I picked up his Hell Burner. So that will be a new to me author as well. This is Ask the Angels, and this is by Rosemary Ellen Guiley. She is the co-author of Talking to the Dead, along with George Newry, and I've done a deep dive into that book along with Worker in the Light by George Newry and William J. Burns. So I thought this would be an interesting read, as I haven't read any of her other work. I also found, because this ties in with my Da Vinci Spiral, Rosslyn, Guardian of the Secrets of the Holy Grail. This is by Tim Wallace-Murphy and Marilyn Hopkins. So when I get back into that Da Vinci Spiral working things out, I have that book, as well as The Complete Idiot's Guide to the Bible. This is the 3rd edition, and I've picked this up because, again, all of this is going to connect in with the Da Vinci Code, all the different books that I have on ancient Egypt. You can't see them behind there. Zachariah Sitchin, Earth Chronicles, of course, are all based on his theories, 30 years of research and connections with the Bible. So along with having bought 2 copies of the Bible over the last few years, I figured this would be the perfect addition to that to try and get this all figured out and pulled together. I also, and it's funny, Kat mentioned this through comments we were sharing the other day, Anne Rice, Blood and Gold. This is one of the novels I believe that my library doesn't have. There's one book out of the Chronicles that they don't have in the series, which to me is really sad. I would think the library would be sure that they would have all the books in a series, but That's just me. So I'll be reading that in a little while. And as I was speaking to the clerk in this store, he was actually reading a book about the Inquisition, and we were talking about accepting people's different beliefs and looking for people's connections and similarities. And that made me think I need it, and I love the cover of this book. But that made me decide I would pick up this book. It's Experiencing the World's Religions, Tradition, Challenge, and Change. This is the second edition, and it goes through learning about different paths. And yes, I do have a bucket with files set up to learn about different spiritual paths. It won't be as in-depth as some of the things I'm looking into, but that's more for myself, because the more that I've learned about and looked at different spiritual paths, the more I realize they're all saying the same thing, just in different ways. So that was my one haul. Then I decided I still wanted to try and find the dead zone, so I went to my usual Goodwill thrift store, and well, no, they didn't have that Stephen King novel, but I did find yet another book to my Ghost House collections. This is by A.S. Mott, and I believe one of the other books I have is by that author. This is Haunted Schools. So as a former educational assistant, I thought this would be great to read. Ghost Stories and Strange Tales. Well, I have strange tales, but no ghost stories. I decided to pick up The Magic. This is by Rhonda Byrne, author of The Secret. Now, I didn't pick up The Secret, although there were numerous copies. I've read it before. It was an okay read, but didn't really resonate entirely with me. And I am aware that her work is based on Esther Hicks, who channels Abraham. So I have an Abraham book, but yeah, I just hadn't hung on to Rhonda Byrne's The Secret. And I passed on her second book that I had to someone else who enjoyed her reading. But I thought I would give this a try because, why not? I also found, and I was super excited, The Secret of Shambhala. This is book 11 of the Celestine. This is the In Search of the 11th Insight. There we go. This is by James Redfield. And again, this is one copy that my library does not have. They have the Celestine Prophecy, the 10th Insight, 12th Insight, but they don't have the 11th. So I was super happy to find this, and I'm very much looking forward to that read because I'm redoing my Celestine Prophecy videos. So that made me super happy. Also, Carlos Castaneda, The Eagle's Gift. I've read some of the work by Carlos in the past. I haven't read this particular one, so I'm looking forward to revisiting his work. Again, going back to the Da Vinci Code and a number of other books that I'm pulling together. Secrets of Mary Magdalene. This is by Dan Bernstein and Arnie J. DeKeezer. Sorry, I've probably said that completely wrong. And it's with an introduction by Elaine Pagels. So I thought that will be fascinating, and again ties in with my previous readings. The Secret World of Weather: How to Read Signs in Every Cloud, Breeze, Hill, Street, Plant, Animal, and Dewdrop. I love this cover. This is by Tristan Gooley. I'm looking forward to this read. It will tie in with Nature Speak by Ted Andrews, who is also the author of Animal Speak, which deals with working with animal guides, which I've mentioned before. And I'm looking forward to nature connections and guides. Then, and this is a repurchase, I really need to make that video. This is Richard Dawkins' The Greatest Show on Earth, The Evidence for Evolution. I had his book before, it was a paperback. So I've purchased it again because I'm going to give him a try. I still need to read the other Dawkins that I found, but I figured for $5 and a hardcover, excellent deal. Then, because it seemed appropriate with all the shopping I've been doing, The Complete Idiot's Guide to Speed Reading. I'm wondering if this has to do, and I can't think, I know it's Evelyn, and I had the book years ago. It was a course on speed reading, but this is by Abby Marks-Beale with Pam Mullen, and I love The Complete Idiot's Guide. One, because I'm not offended by the word, but two, because they always have handy little tips and information along with the subject matter. So to me, I love the layout of this series, but this gives you tips on how to use pacers to increase your reading speed, read technical material quickly and understand what you read, skim and scan dense material. Definitely points that I will be needing to make use of as I've gone crazy in the last few months. And this was another amazing find. Wasn't planning on it, but this is A Course in Miracles, and it's the combined volume. Now, and this is by the Foundation for Inner Peace. I've tried reading A Course in Miracles before. I borrowed a copy from my library. Didn't quite resonate at the time. But again, as I say, I'm open to reading different things. There are a number of books like Pam Grout's E Squared and E Cubed. She's big on A Course in Miracles. Marianne Williamson, another popular author, but didn't resonate with me, is another Course in Miracles person. So I decided I want to give this another try, see how it goes. And again, for $4.50 to get the entire writings is an excellent deal. So then I still don't have the Dead Zone. I will need to check out a few more stores for that, but I definitely had fun and found some books that if I hadn't been on this quest for science fiction or the Dead Zone, I wouldn't have found The Course in Miracles. This is the first time I've seen The Secret of the Shambhala. We'll see how the magic book works. And there are a number of other tie-ins with my research for the Da Vinci Code, finishing up the Vampire Chronicles. And yes, then I definitely need to stop going to the thrift store. So I'm just now looking for the Dead Zone, but that should be my last purchase in a long time. Of course, I said that in my last video, so I'll have to wait and see. If you're interested in following along with some of the book events, we're still in Horror Mayhem, so I have some more ghost books and I have short stories to finish for that. In June, I believe it's June, July, August for the Star Trek reads. There's also science fiction coming up. I noticed that on Book Songs and Other Magic. I'm going to say go check out Gareth's channel because he has the links and information. There's a lot to read. I have my other projects to get reading for and collating material. And of course, I'll be out doing yard work and things. So if nothing else, I definitely have things to keep me out of mischief for the next few months. Until next time, be sure to take good care and be sure to check out the channels that I've mentioned, and I'll leave links to all of them down below.